welcome back to the channel. I know it has been forever since I've posted a video, and I am extremely sorry about that, but I've been very busy with school. As you can see, I am back in my dorm, so audio situation is going to be a little funky. Please bear with me if it's echoey or anything like that. I'm doing my best on that one. I am back with a video that I have wanted to do forever, and that is going to be my personal ranking of the top 5 Red Rising fights. Again, this is going to be completely my personal opinion. If you guys have your own top 5 list of these fights, please feel more than free in the comments to leave them down there. I would love to interact with you guys and see where you guys rank each of these fights, or if you guys have a fight I completely forgot about in your own personal list. So with all that out of the way, let's get into the list. So taking the number 5 spot will be the fight between Darrow, Cassius, Severo, and Mustang up against Asha that takes place at the end of Morning Star. For me, this fight personally is really cool because it is a massive 4-on-1 fight between all of our protagonists up against Asha, who at that point had been the person to kill a bunch of their friends. She had killed Quinn, killed Vichner, she killed Lorne, and this fight is just a vendetta against Asha and a cathartic fight for everyone else. And it's just such a spectacle to see the 4 of them working together, as it should have been from the very beginning. This fight shows us what these 4 could have been doing if they had been put on the same side from the very jump. Like, it is such a good fight that shows their teamwork, their camaraderie and everything, and they are finally able to kill the one person that had caused all of their friends and themselves so much pain. Particularly love the moment where Severo and everyone, they're just giving Asha body blows, and they're like, for Lorne, this is for Ragnar. They're naming all the people that Asha has killed and taken from them. It's just such a cathartic fight. But it is fairly low on this list, and it's not my favorite fight of the series, but I cannot, in good conscience, make a list like this without putting this fight somewhere in the list. So it's going to be taking the number 5 spot, which will probably be controversial to a few people, but personally, there are just fights I like a lot better than this one. Taking the number 4 fight is going to be the gala fight between Cassius and Darrow during Golden Sun. A lot like the Asha fight that I just talked about for number 5, this fight again is here because it is such a spectacle, but it's a spectacle for slightly different reasons. It's a spectacle because this is the first time Darrow fully takes a stand publicly against the Golds in furtherance of the Rising's plans. Because before this, he had been ready to set off that bomb and destroy everyone at the summit. But after a while, he realizes that this isn't going to have any sort of long-term effect. Not really. And then he decides to make a public spectacle and challenge Cassius to this duel. And it is such a cathartic duel. Because again, this has really been the first time that the 2 of them had seen each other since the whole thing with the Institute and Cassius finding out that Darrow had killed Julian. So there was a lot riding on this fight emotionally, and it is just such a good fight because Darrow is just showboating and absolutely humiliates Cassius at the same time. Obviously, there's that moment where Cassius asks, like, no one's going to miss you if you die, and then Darrow reveals that Arcos will. The reason I really enjoy this fight is the fact that it shows how much Darrow has actually learned from Gold Society, because there's that one moment after he takes off Cassius's arm, Octavia interrupts the fight, but Darrow realizes that he has Octavia in checkmate. It just shows how much he's learned through all of his training, and it's just such a cathartic fight and a really good spectacle fight to kick off the second half of Golden Sun, leading into Darrow and Nero's open rebellion. That again, this fight is so good, and I can't in good conscience again not put this on the list, but a couple of the other fights I just enjoyed so much more than this. Again, I had to put this on the list, but there are a bunch of fights that I like better than this one. This is still an amazing fight, but there are others that I enjoy more. Number 3 is going to be going to Cassius versus the Raw family in Iron Gold. For me, this fight is absolutely Cassius's shining moment in Iron Gold. He's given a chance to redeem himself after what's happened, and he fully takes it. And he shows everyone why he should be considered one of the best duelists in the Red Rising series. He cuts down 3 pretty good Raw family members. What's really impressive about this fight in particular, at this point, Cassius hasn't really had a super intense fight for about 10 years. He's been fighting pirates and stuff, but he hasn't been fighting people of this caliber. On top of being out of practice, he's fighting in an environment he's not familiar with, up against a style of sword fighting that he isn't trained against. So it's super impressive that Cassius is still able to do as well as he did. I personally love the moment where he's like, "I am Cassius Albolona, my honor remains." One of the best lines Cassius has. And it's just such a cool, shining moment for Cassius, as it just proves why he still should be respected. Not to mention the emotional part of this fight, which is probably the best part of the fight, because at this point, Raw were trying to convince Cassius to give them the information that would allow Dido to start her war against the Republic, but Cassius stands firm in that, no, we can't let this happen. This entire fight, essentially, is just a big circus spectacle to get Lysander to crack, and unfortunately, he ends up cracking in the misguided belief that allowing the Rim to go to war against the Republic is a good idea. This is the fight that the two of these guys part ways, and it's all over for them. They have completely lost faith in one another. But again, this fight is so good, I had to put it, but there are at least 2 more fights that I think are better. Taking the number 2 spot is going to be the fight between Cassius, Lysander, and Atlas and Roan that happens at the end of Lightbringer. This fight, again, is another shining moment between Cassius and Lysander, because this fight really shows off that the two of them are actually a really good duo. They are able to basically tag team Roan and Atlas. The two of them are able to push them back and are able to really challenge Roan and Atlas, who are like really good working together too. So they're fairly evenly matched as far as compatibility between the 2 teams of the people. So this fight, again, is a really cool spectacle. We have Lysander going up against Roan, and that part of the fight is really interesting because Roan at that point had turned against Lysander, and this was the moment where Lysander and Roan kind of confronted each other about what had happened. So it was a really cool fight to just see the 2 of them, with ultimately Roan dying. But on the other side, we had Cassius versus Atlas, which this fight was so good. When we actually saw Cassius take on who we believed to be one of the best that the Society Remnant had, Cassius is able to kill Atlas, and he gains this great thing where he says, "I am Cassius Albolona, the man who killed fear." And it is just such a Cassius thing to say, but he's absolutely earned that. He was able to defeat Atlas when even Darrow at this point was hesitant to go up against Atlas, but Cassius was able to defeat him, even if it was with the help of Lysander. So the only part of this fight I don't love is the fact that we spend so much time with Roan and Lysander. Like, the main focus of that fight is Roan versus Lysander, and I kind of get that. I really would have loved to have seen the majority of Cassius versus Atlas. I wanted to see that, but I understand why the fight had to go the way it did, but I still would have loved to have seen more of Cassius versus Atlas. Number 1 spot is going to be Fa v Darrow. That is the very end of Lightbringer. I don't know if this is recency bias, because that Lightbringer was the last book to have come out, but I absolutely love this fight. I love the fight because it is actually broken into 3 parts. We have First part being the initial Ashvar duel, which ends when Darrow is able to absolutely destroy Fa. And then we go into this second section where Fa kind of runs away. Darrow, Cassius, and Severo, and everyone else are chasing Fa across the islands, and Fa can't find anyone to help him because of the Ashvar thing. They're not allowed to interfere with any of that. And then the third part, when it culminates with Darrow having beat Fa so bad that he admits that he's a puppet of Atlas and all of this was part of some like big plan. The pure scale of this duel is insane. I just love this duel just for the pure size and just the pure spectacle of it. One other thing I absolutely love about this duel is what it does for Darrow's character. This duel is actually basically the culmination of Darrow's entire character arc that he'd been going through in Lightbringer while he was reading The Path to the Veil. And through this entire book, Darrow has kind of been shifting his mindset from like a full-on warrior, helldiver, keep moving forward type mindset to something closer to like a monk sort of mindset. Like, he's clearly a different character, and this entire duel shows just how extensively he's changed, because he has basically created his own fighting style and has moved away from Lauren's fighting style. And this, I think, is the pinnacle of his character arc, because now he's finally stepped outside of Lauren, who, again, even in the book, he said he considered a god, basically, of fighting, and Willow Way was like the ultimate fighting form. When he realized Apollonius had figured out a way to counter Willow Way, Darrow starts forming this new fighting style, and he finally unveils it with this fight, and it is absolutely epic. Like, it just shows how much Darrow has grown as a character through all of the books, and especially Lightbringer in particular, and he just absolutely destroys Fa in the most epic way. So, kind of jumping off on that one, when Darrow and Fa are finally confronting each other about everything, and Darrow is contemplating what the future of the Obsidians is going to be, he realizes that, no, I can't be the one to take down Fa. Because if he does that, that just proves Fa's entire point. It might be good in the short term, but in the long term, it's really not. So that's when he has Volga kill Fa to like kind of clean his hands of the blood, get him out scot-free of being the new leader of the Obsidians. And then he gives the Obsidians the idea for democracy and allowing them to vote their own leader in, which ultimately they vote Volga as their leader because she is the daughter of Ragnar, and all of them really accept Ragnar, and B, she was the one to kill Fa. So in their eyes, she is a completely legitimate leader and a good choice for them to pick as their leader. So all in all, I absolutely love Darrow v Fa fight, and that's why it takes number 1 for me. That's going to be it for the video. I know I had a ton of fun making this, and I hope you guys enjoyed it too. If you did, please do not forget, like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you guys do not miss a video. And if you guys have your own lists of the fights, feel free to leave those down in the comments. I know you guys probably will disagree on a couple points, and you'll probably add in fights that I completely forgot about. So I would love to see your own lists down in the comments. Don't forget to follow me on social media. My TikTok, Instagram, and Discord are on book reviews. I will leave links to all that stuff down in the comments so you guys can go and check those out if you guys want to. There's a lot of fun content that is not posted on the channel, on TikTok in particular, so I would highly recommend to go check that out. Also, down in the comments, if you guys have books you want me to do reviews on in the future, leave those down there and I'll try and check them out. That is going to be it for this week. Till next time, have a great weekend, and don't forget, keep on reading.